The murder of Young Dolph shook Memphis and the entire hip-hop community to its core. A beloved rapper and entrepreneur gunned down in broad daylight at a local bakery, leaving grieving fans, family, and an empire he built from the ground up. But what seemed like a senseless killing quickly unraveled into a web of suspects, motives, and shocking connections. At first, all eyes were on surveillance footage. 2 masked gunmen armed with rifles stormed Makita's Cookies and opened fire before escaping in a white Mercedes. That car, later found abandoned in a Memphis neighborhood, linking the crime to a broader network of violence. Stay tuned as I break down every development, testimony, and revelation in the murder of Young Dolph. I'm Nina Stacks, and this is Clout and Consequence.
Tonight, we strongly encourage everyone to stay home if you do not have to be out.
The Memphis police chief is asking everyone to stay home tonight after rapper Young Dolph is gunned down and killed at a South Memphis cookie shop.
On November 17th, 2021, the Memphis community was rocked by the devastating news of the murder of rapper Young Dolph, a beloved figure in the world of hip-hop and a well-known philanthropist. His tragic death sent shockwaves through the music industry, and the city of Memphis would never be the same.
Why y'all go take him with me?
Born Adolph Thornton Jr., Young Dolph was more than just an artist. He was a symbol of resilience, a self-made millionaire who had risen from the streets of South Memphis to carve out his own path in the music world. Known for his independence and his unapologetic lyrics about his struggles, he became a role model for many, especially in his hometown. On that fateful day in November, everything would change. Young Dolph, 36 at the time, was gunned down in broad daylight while visiting Makita's Butter Cookies, a local bakery he frequented. Surveillance footage showed him entering the store to pick up cookies when 2 gunmen approached. Without warning, they opened fire, striking Dolph multiple times. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The brutal nature of the crime left the city stunned. Young Dolph was loved by many, and his death felt like a blow to the heart of the Memphis community. But the question lingered: who would want to kill a man who had so much love surrounding him? As an investigation unfolded, it quickly became clear that Dolph's murder was no random act of violence. Detectives pieced together evidence, including eyewitness accounts and surveillance footage, and within days, they identified 2 suspects: Justin Johnson, also known in the rap world as Straight Drop, and a man named Cornelius Smith. Both men had criminal backgrounds and ties to the Memphis street scene. Authorities quickly labeled them as the prime suspects, but the motives behind the shooting remained unclear. Was this gang-related, a personal vendetta, or perhaps something deeper, an act of jealousy or revenge? As the investigation continued, the city of Memphis held its breath. Days turned into weeks, and the suspects were still on the run. Tensions were high, but the police were determined to bring justice to Young Dolph's family and fans. When the authorities named Justin Johnson, better known by his rap alias Straight Drop, as a suspect in Dolph's murder, most fugitives would have gone into hiding, but not Johnson. Instead, he did what many in today's clout-driven culture do. He doubled down on the attention. Just days before his arrest, while on the run, Johnson dropped a music video titled Track Hawk. The video was flashy. Money, designer clothes, expensive cars, everything you'd expect from an up-and-coming rapper. But there was one problem. His name was already plastered across national headlines. Not as an artist on the rise, but as a wanted man in a high-profile murder case. But the clout chasing didn't stop there. Johnson later took to social media claiming he was innocent and announcing plans to turn himself in. Yet when the day came, there was no surrender. Instead, he vanished, forcing U.S. Marshals to put him on their most wanted list. But even after his arrest, his social media presence continued to stir controversy. A jailhouse phone call was leaked, showing him rapping over the phone, fueling speculation that he was still seeking attention rather than showing remorse. In an era where clout is currency, Johnson's actions raise a bigger question. How far will some go for internet fame? And in the end, was it all worth it? In January of 2022, The hunt for the killers reached a new level when authorities tracked down Justin Johnson, who'd been evading capture. He was arrested in Indiana after a nationwide manhunt. Later that year, Cornelius Smith was also taken into custody. Both men faced multiple charges, including first-degree murder in connection with Dolph's death. But the case was far from over. Many questions remained unanswered. What was the exact motive behind the killing? Was there anyone else involved in the conspiracy to take Dolph's life? And perhaps most haunting of all, how could a man who gave so much to his community be taken away so violently? As of today, the case is still unraveling, and the city of Memphis remains in mourning. In September of 2024, Justin Johnson went to trial. He was subsequently convicted on all counts, including first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and felon in possession of a firearm. The slam dunk in the case came from his co-defendant, Cornelius Smith, who admitted that he and Mr. Johnson committed the murder for a small monetary gift. Justin Johnson was immediately sentenced to life in prison. As of February 2025, Cornelius Smith, Johnson's co-defendant, is still awaiting trial. Anna Hernandez Govan, accused of orchestrating the murder, is scheduled for trial in March of 2025. From giving away thousands in Thanksgiving turkeys to paying rent for families in need, Dolph believed in uplifting his community. He didn't just rap about success, he showed others how to achieve it. Through his paper route empire, he gave young artists a platform, teaching them ownership, teaching them wealth, teaching them game. His tragic death left a void in Memphis, but his impact, that will never fade. As the trials continue to unfold and as justice is pursued, one thing remains certain: Young Dolph's legacy will outlive the violence that tried to silence him. Long live Flipper. For stories that shape the culture, subscribe and stay locked in to Clout and Consequence. I'm Nina Stacks.